I just love how involved I get to be in all aspects of the production, I suppose. Like, I get to visit rehearsals and see what's going on there, but also be so involved in the design process and the building of the sets and working with all the different designers, but also having that interaction with the cast, particularly during production week when we're piecing everything together. I actually love our office.
It's where I get to sit down and talk to artists, and it's where I get to read plays that come across my desk, and it's where I get to have some really great conversations. You know, the beginning of work feels like this space here, and that's often a really exciting moment. Funnily enough, I remember so clearly the very first time I was brought onto the building site that is now the theatre. It was essentially just a hole in the ground, and we all had hard hats and steel cap boots on, and I was being asked these questions like, you know, are you excited? What are you going to do in here? I wonder if I'm supposed to know what this giant void is going to do for the community and for the company.
I think theatre, especially with contemporary theatre, there is no one way to make theatre. There's a lot of freedom to kind of be more creative, to play with form and play with story, and I think that's really exciting, and that's what it's exciting part of live performance.
I think it's the breadth of stories that you can tell in the theatre space that's so appealing. It is a space in a way that kind of conjures ghosts, you know, the great playwrights of the past alongside young, emerging, experimental, interesting artists, and there's something about that mix of humans and of human endeavour that is, I think, really electrifying, and there is this commitment from audiences and from artists to keep working in this very kind of intimate space.
The audiences are such an important part of what we do, and then sort of they really feed, audience helps feed off the actors, and he feeds off the performance, and sometimes it makes it interactive as well, and that's really exciting for both the audiences and the artists to kind of work together in that way.
There's nothing quite like the immediacy of that exchange, you know, and it's one of the great many things I admire about actors.
I think it can make it a lot more intimate, and you can kind of feel a bit more involved in what's actually happening on stage, because they are real people. It is really physical, like it is right there in front of you. That's not a screen that's shot, you know, on some mountain in a foreign land or whatever it is.
I think theatre itself is, in ways, a request to an audience to almost meditate. You know, you can't look at your phone, you can't talk to your friend, you have to sort of switch off from the world and really engage with what's being presented to you, and how you take the audience on a journey from that first moment is always a challenge and always evolving, I guess.
While I was away in Sydney, the amount of change and the activation that's happened in this city has been overwhelming. I was very involved. I used to be at work at Pika, very involved with the activation of the cultural centre, and it's amazing to see how far it's come in just that 3.5 years that I was away. What's so amazing about Perth theatre scene is the strength of the independent scene here, which you don't see over there. Which really feeds into what we do as a professional theatre company. It's such an important, rich part of the culture here that it really kind of supports the bigger companies and enables us to do what we do.
I think Perth has a really strong theatre voice, and I think it's getting stronger. I think, yeah, it's right across every aspect of the theatre making community, you know, right through from the smallest show in the Fringe Festival to, you know, the biggest works that are being made here.
I think the rise of Fringe has given audiences the freedom to kind of take greater risks with theatre, and they're a bit more open to kind of trying out new things.
I think the community is very aware of what's happening globally. I think they're really connected, and yet there's still a very special voice that comes out of Perth.
One thing I'm very proud of with Perth Theatre Company is that the works that we present and create, no matter what style it's done in, it's always about, it allows the audience, challenges the audience, and allows them to kind of think and use their imagination.
I want them to take away something that lasts beyond that moment in the theatre, whether it's a thought or a response or a new way of thinking about something, a memory, whatever it is. I want to make theatre that doesn't feel disposable, you know, that has an impact.
Once you leave the theatre, it's not just about pure entertainment. You take that with you, and you always thinking about the work, and it can have an actual impact on your life, and which I think is really important, and that's what what's so wonderful about theatre.